go right ahead. Wisdom Wednesday. Hello, everybody. It's a wonderful day. We've experienced like a couple meditations so far, together, and hopefully maybe apart. He's right now reading he's excited because he's reading his crystal reading results. So in the beginning of the video, I shot a video of me at least starting the crystal reading. Unfortunately, I was not responsible and did not put my phone on the charger, so it did not get recorded, and neither did our actual video of our Wisdom Wednesday conscious conversation. So
I need to show you some of this. This is interesting.
Go ahead.
Oh, this one Amber just talks about. It's like a healing crystal.
Mm-hmm. Well, resin.
Resin. And then it's like regarded as like a living being.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess crystals all have their own vibration.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's like when amber is rubbed against wool or silk, it becomes electrically charged.
So that goes along with what we were talking about, kind of with the pyramids and how like
we were talking about pyramids.
That's what the whole video was supposed to be.
That's interesting how they got that part got cut off when we was talking about pyramids.
Yeah.
They don't want us to know. They don't want y'all to know.
They don't want y'all to know.
But I'm not gonna push it.
But that goes along with how I was talking about the quartz crystal being used as a basically a charger for the aqueducts. The aqueducts. I don't know which way to say it. But anyway, the aqueducts, literally, I don't know what they did, but they either used another quartz crystal upon another quartz crystal or another type of crystal upon a quartz crystal, which actually they would like spin it or like...
I think they spun it. And
it would somehow charge the ground to activate the aqueducts. And it's amazing. So one of the quotes that I was saying... that we've been it's kind of been our like theme of the day, kind of. When you don't expect,
you leave room to accept.
And we've just kind of understood that in multiple different ways. We've seen experiences or we've talked about it, not just today, but just in general, that, you know, when you really don't expect anything, like even us meeting today, this is the first day we've met in person, and we didn't expect anything about us meeting in person. We had no, you know, I think we both...
I expect you to be a little weird. So I know.
What was that expectation?
No, you're dope. You're dope. My man's.
We cool up in this joke. We cool.
We still need to make a handshake.
Okay, what's the handshake? Are we about to make a
handshake? No, seriously, handshakes are a thing for me.
Okay, we'll make it real when nobody's watching.
Okay. So, you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
I'm like, oh no, I'm not ready for this. But, just a pearl of wisdom. When you do not expect, you leave room to accept. Because you want to have an open space. You take out the expectations. And now you are fully opened to whatever it is that is going to be flowing into your existence, whether it be... See, there really is no good or bad. There's just...
labels.
Those are just labels of what the truth is, and the truth is that truth is, and so therefore, even more... According to my calculations. No, but on some real points here, I just wanted to come and reiterate that quote. I don't really have anything else to say.
Let's talk about. Let's see.
Let's talk
about the shooting that happened on the 18th. What's your perspective on that?
See, the thing is, I did not know there was a shooting on the 18th because I do not watch news. I do not watch any type of TV.
I know.
I had no clue.
There was a shooting.
Where was it?
It was in Texas. High school or
I was just on the phone with her. She lives out there.
Yeah. Hopefully she's
fine.
I'm about to say
she's chilling.
But apparently it was just, I don't know, 8 kids died, and it was just like a shooting happened on my birthday. It happened.
So who's shooting?
It was a student. Miss Grundold. heartbroken, got rejected, and like he shot the girl. I just don't understand how like males in this society can't deal with rejection. I've been getting rejected since 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing new to me. It's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just sucks because, I mean, I work with kids, and a lot of these kids who experience the shooting, they get all this support, all this love. You know what I'm saying? All this people coming on. Oh, we're rallying with you. Oh, we're with this. But it's not the same tune when it's like kids in like, you know what I'm saying, inner city do like see their friends die or like grow up like around poverty and like crime. They don't get that same support.
Right.
And then they wonder why the crime rate's how it is. Because like it's a cycle, honestly. Sorry, I forgot. We were talking. Oh yeah.
The shooting by itself, I'd say that anything that has to do with violence, whether it be mental violence, physical violence, or spiritual violence. And in turn, it actually all is a spiritual type of violence because you're coming from the generational ties. And that's why people have such a hard time,
comprehending why
rejection is being, relayed to them. They can't handle it because there may be something in the generational tie in the DNA that is just not equipped with handling certain things. And then also what happens is as you grow up from a baby into the society that is putting so many different labels and boundaries and all these different things, your unlimited soul is like, what the heck is going on? And why can't I feel the way that I want to feel?
Yeah, it's like, special ed people or people with mental disabilities, like, if we didn't have these labels as to what's normal behavior and to abnormal behavior, they just be, you know what I'm saying? They just be doing themselves. They don't do anything malicious. And I've never had someone, like try to come. I mean, maybe when they're like overstimulated or like, stressed out, then shit pops out. But definitely, like, society creates these labels and forces everyone to live in them.
Do you mind just speaking a little bit more on children with, mental disabilities and obstructions as that category? Like, do you mind speaking? Explain a little bit about what you have done or your...
I do everything. Sign that. But I teach. I just got a new job at a charter school. Start this Thursday. Thank you.
I'm excited.
Before that, me too. Before that, I worked with 4-year-olds. So it's quite a change going from like 4-year-old students to middle school, like 6th grade, which is a tough time.
Yeah.
But, just, I don't know, kids will be kids, and it's like, to watch kids play is like, it's just amazing because they just...
You get to feel their amazing energy.
And they don't discriminate at all. Like, this one summer camp, there was these 3 boys, didn't speak a lick of English. One was Russian, one was Hispanic. No, and the other 2 were Hispanic. Didn't speak a lick of English, like none of them. But they were all playing together. You know what I'm saying? It's just
how? Like what? Imagination?
No, try and get them to stop. What's the thing? but that's another story. But they, I don't know. Mental illness is just, as far as kids are concerned, I feel like a lot of it can be remedied with diet. Diet. A lot of people don't realize that your diet affects how you feel, and it's more so. I mean, even me, like
your gut brain, I've heard so many times.
Because you are what you eat, and it's like, if you're putting in trash food or putting in food that's not helping you perform at your optimal level, you're not going to feel at an optimal level. And it just reminds me of this one kid whose mom was like, oh, I think he's ADD, and homie was like 4 years old. I have ADD, by the way, and I'm not a psychologist, but I've read a lot to, like, you know what I'm saying, recognize. I'm not a stranger to any of this shit, but he didn't have ADD. He might have had behavior problems, but he didn't have ADD. But his lunch was, like, pre-packaged, you know what I'm saying? Like, Lunchable shit like every day.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're giving them... Not even you're giving them, just... Once you try changing the diet, you know what I'm saying? Then see how stuff works before you try applying labels.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Definitely.
That's deep.
Because we as a country don't eat healthily. And If you look, like, most of the shit is targeted towards kids, like Happy Meals. Like, I wanted a Happy Meal so bad.
Oh my gosh,
for that damn. So I know y'all wanted a Happy Meal too.
My producer's kids, I was just over there last night, and like they have a whole song. I want a Happy Meal, and the song is dope. Don't get me wrong, the song is dope.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, yo, like, really what we do feed our kids matters. Like, every single, not even just our kids, but we feed ourselves in general. What we put into, we are what we eat. You know, we've heard that for so many, ever since we were a kid. We are what we eat. We are what we eat. There was even a book, Junie B. Jones. I don't know if any of y'all know that, but I used to read all the series.
You look like a Junie B. Jones reader.
It would be Junie B. Jones. Anyway, just, there was a book that where she talked about you are what you eat, and she turned into like chocolate because like she loved chocolate, and she remember she's like, I can't even eat myself or something like that. I don't even know.
I remember Billy and Mandy. You remember Billy and Mandy?
Oh yeah, Billy and Mandy. Oh, the cartoon, right?
The cartoon.
Yeah, that was dope. But for real, like, if we're getting back on topic, I think that, and do you perceive that, like, these mental illnesses came, obviously, from birth, right? Most of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't feel like any could have come from being in the womb life?
As far as something happened, like, while they're in the womb, or is just something...
Maybe even the food that was eaten, or...
Oh, from the mothers?
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
Or the energies that were transmitted into the child.
That were just there present the whole time, if you're around the energy. Yeah. That honestly makes sense, too. It's just sad thinking about it. Because, kids...
It's only sad if you make it sad. When you start to say, okay, I know this is something that's going on, then you're able to kind of take it in and handle it. You know what I'm saying? And then you're not handling it in a way that you feel sorrow when you're putting more vibration of sorrow. You're handling it in a way where you're able to say, this is a situation. How can I create a solution instead of creating more of a problem? Because even saying it's sad is a problem because you're saying...
not coming to a solution.
Yeah, okay. and so I'd say in the main point, I feel like, you could be an activist for somebody who understands what these children are going through and even start something where you, because you have found a solution and stop saying it's sad or stop, feeling the pity for them, you're able to now stand up for them and be the voice of reason for them that they don't have for themselves even. Like, nobody really is support... Like throughout my whole high school career, we had the Best Buddies Club. And everybody was able to just kind of go around school with everybody. There was no boundaries.
Cliques or, like...
Well, I mean, I'm saying as far as the Best Buddies Club goes. Like, everybody, all the people in the club were able to walk around school. They had, they didn't go to all the classes, and they had their own classes, but at lunch they were able to walk around, do what they wanted, and there was just so much stuff. Like, it's terrible, people would, like, make fun of them, and, like, try to start some fights with them, or try to start stuff with them, or, like, they would start fights.
Special needs kids?
Yeah.
Wow. And they were so sweet, is the thing. They were so sweet. Like, there was this one kid I used to work with, his name was Gage, I gotta get him a present, but he just never, like, can you imagine, like, going to school, doing the same thing every day, and it's not even like you're doing, like, you're building on it. You're just doing the same thing every day, and it's like they do the same thing every day, but he never has an attitude. He never has, like, saying, I don't want to do it. Like, there's never a problem. He's just eager to do it because he's just happy.
Yeah.
It's just, wish more people would recognize that.
Yeah, and I feel like they do have a way higher vibration. Especially people with Down syndrome.
A Down syndrome baby smile.
No way. Well, I mean, I have, not in person.
There was this one kid at the center. He was adorable.
Aww.
He was adorable.
I've always felt like... at one point, I was going through, like, a fast, and I was really into Christian religion, and God had given me a message that children with autism or Down syndrome or any type of mutated DNA situation are the key to our generation.
That's what we were talking about in the car. How we're slowly experiencing, like, a cultural shift as far as more and more kids being born with autism or, like, special needs. Because, I mean, honestly, like what you were saying, like, me being an activist, like, I want to do that, but, like, ultimately my end goal is, like, to overhaul the entire education system. Because you can't put people in these boxes and expect them to perform the way you want and then wonder why we're where we want to be as a society,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we need, writers, we need artists. We don't need all this STEM shit. That'll come naturally. You know what I'm saying? That'll come from kids who want to learn about that. We need
that
kids
stuff.
who are happy to be themselves, so they're not shooting up schools.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Kids who
have
that place to, just be themselves, because I feel...
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that, like, with science, with technology, with psychology, with all these different labels, we're not actually integrating everything. And I think school is education. Now that goes into, okay, what are you being educated on? Okay, science, you're being educated on psychology. Okay, but what's the purpose for your education? And I think that's where we need to start from, is what is the purpose of us even really being on this planet?
Bruh, and to go back, remember, I'm not sure if it was on this recording, but remember we were trying to discuss, like, where the Nile River connected? Mm-hmm. Okay, we don't know.
What did you say?
The Euphrates or the Tigris or something.
Those two.
But, like, we don't know that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I can tell you so much stuff about U.S. history, because we've learned about the same wars, the same people for 12 years.
And there's a whole rest of the world, let me remind you. Like, a whole rest of the world. Like, everybody in the United States would say that this is our world, technically. Like, a lot of people in the United States statistically have not left the United States, like, at all in their lives.
But with that, though, I used to work in Georgetown, and Georgetown's, like, it has pretty frequent tourists. And my advice, just for anyone, if you can't travel, the next best thing is to just meet someone else from another place and just get their perspective about stuff, because that's how we get closer. Great input. I really agree with that. And I think that that's one thing that's stopping us, is all these different boundaries. We feel like because we're not from the same culture as somebody, I mean, it's changing now because the shift is happening, but because a lot of older people are stuck in their ways, and they're so stuck in their ways because their neurological pathways have been really, built up over time. Plasticity, though.
But how does that, you have to get them to a certain height of heat or frequency to be able to have plasticity and not solidity in their neurological pathways. It's a possibility.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But we definitely have to, like, spark the plug. You know what I'm saying? And I think for...
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, bro? But I think it's been, over so many generations, people have, disregarded the fact that we all came from one source. We're all the same human. We're all the same beings. We all have consciousness. And whether, I was actually just talking about it with one of my friends recently, that music is the universal language. And whether we can't understand them by speaking, we can integrate our beings together by having a music.
Feel, or how they make us feel inside. I mean, because you can say 1,000 words to me, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I might not remember jack shit you said. I'm gonna remember how that shit made me feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Vibes.
Exactly. Vibes. So we're gonna come back to the quote. We're gonna, like, tie it all back together.
How are you gonna do this?
I just say, with all the topics that we talked about, when it comes to education, when it comes to, any people that are just not in a frequency to understand everybody, which that may also go with the fact that there's something wrong with them, that, not even wrong, but there's something that's hurting them, I think that, bringing this back to the quote, that when you don't expect, you leave room to accept. So if we stop expecting what we think is going on in the world or what we think should happen, we're actually going to be able to find more and more solutions, because we're accepting it. We're being able to say, okay, this is our problem. This is the situation. Let's find a solution.
Where do we go from there?
To all these different topics that we were just pouring out, not expecting would help us to accept and then take more steps forward to solve and create, a conscious realm of beings where we can all integrate everything and kind of reduce the label usage.
Yeah, I hate labels.
When you say you hate something, you attract it more.
Labels.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Once again, I am Cassidy, or Xena, and this is Khalid. Do you have one of those, like, aliases or whatever?
I have a street name.
What is it?
I can't tell you my street name.
Oh, you can't tell us the street name because you're being discreet.
Not even like that. But, Khalid.
He's retired from the streets.
Never really went out.
Okay. He was
home-
never really in the
I
streets.
was about to say, it was home when the lights went on.
Alright, so he's gonna go back to reading his crystals.
Ooh.
And we'll see you later. Thanks for joining us on Wisdom
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Thank you for having me.
Adios, beautiful. Again, thank you. I give up!
I was like, oh, she's saying another language. She's speaking another language.
I was like,
I'm like, oh, okay.
But thank you once again for even, allowing us to do this.
Anytime.
Yes. All right, guys. Adios!